Hello and welcome everyone back to another video. Magic Cat back in crypto video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a banger video talking about Pulsechain, the latest and greatest news. We're going to be focusing more on the richer hardcore tokens, but we're also going to be touching up on tomorrow is going to be a huge milestone, a very important day for every Pulsechain user, investor, builder, trader, whatever you are, whether you're into ATROPA system or you're an IC Maxi or you're in a HOA, you're in a different meme coin, no, tomorrow will affect every single one, and Pulsechain is a huge day, and this is to do with the SEC case against Richard Hart, and if you believe it or not, against HEX, against Pulsechain. Yes, imagine suing a piece of code which shouldn't be representable by a human. It shouldn't be suable because code is immutable, it's automated. It's absolutely crazy, guys, but we live in such a world. Thank you, Gary Gensler, which we're going to be speaking about as well today. So yeah, without further ado, before jumping into that, how bullish is Pulsechain, etc., and what is my confidence level with the SEC case and generally in Pulsechain, before we jump into a big thank you to my YouTube members, and of course thank you to you, the one who's watching. Honestly, if you're new to my channel, do consider subscribing for more videos like this. I want to give a warning, by the way. The next few videos after this one will be heavy alpha. Okay, we're not just going to be talking about the general state of Pulsechain, etc. I'm going to be dropping some serious alpha, so yeah, you want to be following my channel with a notification bell open. I've given my warning. Join my Telegram, link in the description as well. By the way, 810 members. Ask them questions. It's made by the community for the community, so you join there, speak with the rest of the community as well. Anyways, so yeah, big thank you to my YouTube members who are choosing to support my small channel. Today, looking at the crypto market, is looking quite green. I love it. It feels great, by the way. A lot of people are approaching me and asking me, Khaled, what's going on? Is it bearish? Should I just save my money? And my answer is, by the way, is we're still on track with the normal bull run pattern in the past 3/4 bull runs. So keep that in mind. Number two is that, first of all, you should always never invest with your full buying power. Always keep a little bit for DCA money, where instead of just buying all at once, whatever the current market price of something you're looking into today, it's really good to sometimes divide that and then slowly basically buy it up in installments in a slower frequency, or sorry, a higher frequency. For example, once per few days, once per week, once per month. That's the power of DCA. It literally averages your current entry position, because we don't have a crystal ball. We never know when is truly the bottom. No one can call the bottom other than when Richard Hart called the top of Bitcoin in the last bull run, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, looking at the market today, really nice and green. Pulsechain reflects that beautifully, because of course we all know that Pulsechain is linked with Ethereum, which is linked to Bitcoin, which is linked to generally the real world. Unfortunately, that's how things go. It's intertwined with the politics, but thankfully we have Donald Trump, who is pro crypto, which I think is a win-win. Hopefully, obviously, I'm very confident that he's going to win the election. I believe it's in January of next year. But yeah, speaking of kind of politics and stuff like that, it's absolutely crazy that I've even seen an article. Now, this is not 100% true, so it's allegedly from the Washington Reporter. Again, don't really know. Washington Reporter literally released that Kamala Harris said that she would likely to nominate Gary Gensler as Treasury Secretary, guys. As Treasury Secretary, which is absolutely crazy. Obviously, I'm not sure if Gary even agreed to that, or if he even wants to step down from being a chairman in SEC. But yeah, this is not really the best news that we want to hear for us crypto investors, because of course, crypto is huge in the US market. We don't really want this. Whatever Gary Gensler is doing right now, either way in the SEC, is not really great. He's spending more time picking and choosing which companies to just sue for, with the crypto, like we've seen it happen with, obviously, Richard Hart is one of them. We've seen it happen with, unfortunately, with Uniswap, and I think Ripple basically recently finally got a win. Or sorry, not Ripple. Yeah, Ripple XRP. But yeah, spending more time spearing which projects and which companies to sue, as opposed to how about you make it actually clear for the crypto companies for what is permissible, what is not. There's a lot of gray, smoke about what is, the regulations, and I don't believe honestly the SEC themselves even understand crypto as much as we do. Literally, viewers like you and I right now, we probably know more about crypto than them. So I think they need to spend more time learning about it, and instead of like trying to stifle, impede the innovation in the crypto world, it's not great. Obviously, we want to keep United States, you know what I mean, be the number one and flourish in this before other markets, right? This is what Donald Trump would say. We don't want, you know, China to take over whatever they're doing, because China replicates, and then when they replicate, they do it really well. So yeah, anyways, that's another topic. Going back to it, Pulsechain is looking really nice and green today. If you want to see the latest winners, again, the topic of today's video is talking about the richer hardcore tokens. Obviously the title is going to probably be around, you know, why PulseX, INC and HEX will make millionaires in 2025. Are you going to be one of them? Am I going to be one of them? We don't know. Not financial advice. This is never financial advice. I never claim to be. This is just for entertainment purposes, educational purposes, and then obviously yeah, keep that in mind, by the way. But yeah, these are the main tokens in the richer hardcore token. Obviously, I've excluded the Pulse native gas fee token itself. Reason being because obviously it's kind of the main spear, right? This is the word that Sami uses. It's the main narrative token. It's the native token, so it's the thickest with the liquidity. It's the one that moves the heaviest. You want to look into what's the leverage of that. So obviously PulseX is a really great one, a really great example, by the way. First of all, actually, I think I would have a chart of it right here. You know, usually what I would think is, you know, for example, Pulsechain to go to prediction, by the way. This is just prediction, kind of aspirational, would be Pulsechain, the Pulse token going to like half a cent, quarter of a cent. What I would predict for PulseX to do is to kind of reach the same number as that. But obviously in terms of pricing, because right now PulseX is basically half of a Pulse, which would be crazy if we saw this actually reach parity or even surpass Pulse. And I wouldn't be surprised, because once we compare that in the WPLS chart, you can see that actually PulseX has been very, you know, outperforming, guys, Pulse, you know, in these conditions, which is really good. So that means if you had the same amount of money holding it in PulseX as opposed to just keeping it holding Pulse, you'd be 137%, 1.3x higher, guys, okay, by just holding it during these down bearish markets. Okay, obviously a big contribution to this is honestly towards the buy and burn with the PulseX, which is really great. You can see that here, 4.7. I'm gonna try to zoom in for you guys. A 4.74% has been burnt, worth of $19 million. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. That's the power of leverage. And there's even another one, which is to do with the INC token. I think this is a huge winner. I think it's even a leverage of PulseX, which is a leverage of Pulse token. So this one, honestly, guys, I'm a huge fan of it. There's different ways to play this. You can either buy INC or you can earn INC. And actually, I've made a video about this. This is what Andrew Tate is doing. There is a wallet that's kind of been found out there. You can watch my video about it. Go search it up. Andrew Tate holds Pulsechain, where he has $130,000 or $150,000 in one of the PulseX farms, making him INC, and he's accumulating the INC. So again, being a different player here, you either can buy INC or earn INC, and I truly do believe, I think the latter is probably better, where you want to earn INC. I'm a big holder of INC, by the way, but I want to make it in the future where I want to earn it as well, because that is truly the power of passive income. And as well, I've talked about this where PulseX is honestly one of my favorite, most trustable farms. Okay, I'm not really going to trust anything else with other farms, you know, unless obviously I'm managing my risk. I'm not going to go there with crazy capital. It's going to be risk capital at the end of the day, to be honest with you, right? Well, but with PulseX farms, it's more like money that you want to park up, where you want it to create you, where you want your money to make you more money. In the meantime, you want to park it up somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So that's the power of it, really, with PulseX. It's unlocked staking, unlocked farming, basically, right? Which is really beautiful. You can come out anytime. There's no buy-in or sell-out tax. None of that, really. The only thing you need to worry about is in the impermanent loss, which, you know, there's plenty of really great pairs. The one with a stable coin, the one with Pulse and PulseX, because of course they go up and down together due to Hart's law, which basically means things go up and down in tandem relative to each other, like a, you know, it's all compared with the ratios, the liquidity bonding ratios, or the liquidity bonding as they call it. But yeah, INC again, guys, it's at $1.84, 26.3 million in liquidity. We've hit a local all-time high around that $10, just under that $10. And then all-time low was crazy. I wish I was there, obviously, in Pulsechain, but I didn't really think about it that much. But yeah, it was all-time low was around 39 cents, and here we are right now, which, to be honest with you guys, I think this is one of the best opportunities in my opinion, because we're only late. So if you're watching this video, you're only late from the bottom by a 3.5x. Okay, now opposed to being late by almost a 22x buying at the local all-time high. That would make me feel bad if I was like, oh, I have to buy now when people have already made a 22.5x. Crazy. And imagine if you were farming from back then, depending if you cashed it out, you know, or if you're holding your INC, your APR was effectively, let's say if it's 50% APR, you would times that by 22%. By 22x. Which is crazy. So for example, if you were making, you know, $10 a day here, it would have been a beautiful, because this is it would be $220 a day, as if. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the math checks out, which is absolutely crazy. So that's the whole point with honestly delaying your gratification. Guys, we all know that the altcoin season is not here yet. I've made videos talking about this, okay? So if you're new to my channel, like, I don't want to be repeating myself on that. Look at this screenshot right here that I made. Pause the video and look at it, understand it. Okay, these are the previous bull runs. Okay, you can see peak 1, peak 2. I'm not really gonna bet on peak 1, peak 2 kind of trends, because you never know where a peak 1 could be the higher than peak 2, whatever. But generally, you can see that history does repeat itself, or it tends to rhyme. Okay, and then yeah, anyways, that's kind of for another video, really talking about altcoin season. But basically, I have my prediction where we're gonna reach the peak, or at least this a very good state of the altcoin season around Q1 of 2025. And here you can see the box where I'm estimating the peak of altcoin season to be around end of March, and then the second peak to be around the beginning of November. Okay, so the takeaway of this, all I'm trying to say is that don't expect too much within the year of the Bitcoin halving, because when you compare it with the other, you can just see right here, there's not really much that happened. You'd have to wait an average of 350 days, which is absolutely crazy because it's very consistent throughout the previous 3 bull runs. You had to wait 350 days before you see the rallying up of the altcoins. And yeah, anyways, moving on, we're also going to talk about HEX. Now, I made a few tweets about this, by the way, so go follow my Twitter link in the description. I've literally just made a tweet of this before I started recording. I said, history tends to repeat itself. HEX will make new millionaires in 2025. This is EHEX. It's currently a 400x, ladies and gentlemen, right here. This is EHEX, by the way. Looking at the liquidity, it's super thin when you compare it to PHEX. Okay, now this gives obviously different ups and downs. I'm holding HEX for EHEX for a different reason. I'm holding PX for literally a different reason, because of the sacrifice wallets, of course, right? And then obviously EHEX here because it's super low on liquidity. Look at that, $378,000. That will make it where, you know, significantly lower volume is required compared to PHEX for this to, you know, pump or appreciate 10%, 10x, 50x type thing. You know what I mean? So back to all-time high from here, from the prices right here, is a 400x. Are we going to reach all-time high? I'm not trying to say that really, but even if we reached, you know, diminishing returns, taking into diminishing returns, even if we reached 10 cents, you know what I mean, like 25 cents, whatever, that would be absolutely crazy, because I truly do believe history does repeat itself, where we've had days like this, guys, where HEX was basically in the top 10 of CoinMarketCap, or here for some reason it shows as 200 to 1, which is, by the way, another reason why HEX could be very bullish, because look at this, Binance US HEX lawsuit revived by appeals courts, and this is thanks to someone, something Cox, for his name, Cox. Let's find out. Oh, Ryan Cox, there he is. But yeah, you can see lawsuit claims Binance.us manipulated the HEX token ranking on CoinMarketCap, causing price drop. Courts find sufficient US ties to hold Binance.us accountable for alleged HEX manipulation, which is not good, guys. Again, this is them trying to, for some reason, stunt the growth of HEX while pumping their own type of tokens. You know what I mean? Because if you guys didn't know, Binance.us owns CoinMarketCap. It's quite funny that this article is literally in CoinMarketCap as well. Yeah. But yeah, that is absolutely sad to see, by the way. But yeah, this is, hopefully we're going to see some justice. Same thing with the SEC. But speaking about the SEC, I found this gem of an article, or gem of a thread in Reddit here, where it says, here are the latest updates to the SEC case. All right, so this is the facts, and actually this is tomorrow, which is why I'm making this video now. You can see here the reply, if any, is due August 22nd, and this is reply as in what the defendant Richard Hart, his lawyers, will reply to basically the SEC's response, right? So yeah, and he was just talking about generally how it's one interesting, Richard Hart's attorneys are registered to represent him only, not the other named defendants, HEX, Pulsechain, and PulseX. It's actually crazy. How can you sue a piece of code? You know what I mean? Which I think obviously, when you write code, it should be part of or protected by the First Amendment, freedom of speech, because honestly, I do believe code is speech. This is what Richard Hart stands for, and this is the whole meaning, the whole conviction that I have for Pulsechain. It's really more than an investment to me, because Richard Hart is actually fighting the fight for our freedom to communicate using blockchain. Do you know what I mean? It's really not just about Richard Hart, it's more about the crypto. Yeah, I'm really interested to see. I'm very confident that we will win this. It's just unfortunately that with the SEC case, there's a lot of time rugging that happens. Okay, I gotta keep it real. That's the only downside. Okay, yeah, this isn't accidental, as two of the attorneys originally did register to represent the other named defendants as well, but then submitted a motion to correct it, so they're only defending Richard Hart. And yeah, anyways, yeah, that's basically it. And then you have the oral arguments, October 24th, guys. Oh my god, that's literally basically 2 months from now. Absolutely crazy times to be in. I'm glad I'm DCing. I'm glad I'm holding my bags way before those, because there's going to be a lot of buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing, and at the same time, you just never know, because if we win that case, guys, I mean, all the people that delisted us, centralized exchanges now will finally not feel scared to list us. Shout out to Maxi. Okay, it's going to be super exciting. We are truly early, truly early, by the way. Okay, so yeah, anyways, going back to it, I've had another highlighted tweet. Shout out to Gibson, where he mentioned here, if you think Richard Hart isn't studying the blockchain and success of other chains, you're delusional. He studied Bitcoin for nearly a decade before he made HEX, which did a 10,000x. He studied Ethereum before he made his own layer 1, which is Pulsechain. He studied PancakeSwap before he made his own DEX with incentive, right? That's the incentive token, and that's PulseX, of course. He's waiting patiently and studying the top chains now, such as Ethereum, Solana, Base, Tron, and Tron, to make the next move. And of course, we will flip them all by the end of the cycle. Probably referring to the fact that we have sacrificed funds as well. We can honestly, Richard Hart, by the time Ethereum reaches 7,000, the sacrificed funds will be worth over $1 billion, and he can basically start his own mini altcoin season. That's kind of like the plan B, by the way. Plan B. You know what I mean? Like, look at what happened with, what was it called? Avalanche. They basically did the same thing by, doing buybacks and whatever, and they only had like 100 million. Now, imagine 10 times plus that. Because, Avalanche was actually quite bullish for some time. It was for a short. It was basically at the end of the bull run, right? Of 2022 or 2021. Is very bullish. Do you know what I mean? Imagine that 10 times, guys, with Pulsechain. So actually crazy. I want to stick around to find out. I've always said this. You know what I mean? Would you rather wait and buy, or buy and wait? Think about it. Not financial advice. Think about it. But anyways, there's another tweet here that I just dug up from ages ago, where I talk about INC, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, because why it's super bullish, because INC is actually one of those misunderstood tokens in the Pulsechain ecosystem, because of just how people look at, oh my god, it's inflationary, it's not good. Guys, Bitcoin is also inflationary. Okay, when was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When inflation was at its highest, right? When the block rewards was really high, when it was only through the first, Genesis block, or the first halving, basically, right? That was the best time to buy Bitcoin, because look at the price. It was really low prices. What is INC? How is it related to Bitcoin? People are calling it gold. What am I talking about? What are we talking about? Is it really bullish because it's so inflationary? You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. INC is honestly one of the best of all rich hardcore tokens, and I truly do believe that. Okay, it's really a leverage of PulseX, which is a leverage of Pulse. Leverage over leverage, guys. That's exponential. That is exponential. Okay, lowest valuation of all rich hardcore tokens. There hasn't been a sacrifice for that. It has thick liquidity, which is good. Yearly inflation halving. This is the key that you need to understand. Yearly inflation halving. Every year, the rate of inflation is cut in half, slashed. I have a nice graph that I'm going to show you. And then here as well, another good reason, this is just for centralized exchanges, really. No OA holding, not that it's bad, but means could get listed on centralized exchanges like Binance. Remember, when was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When inflation was at its highest point. And looking at this image, a nice little illustration here to demonstrate what I'm talking about. This is the graph, ladies and gentlemen, and the period right here on the left column depicts or basically talks about the years. This is kind of a simulation, and you can see right now by year 2 it would be a supply of 50 million. But as you go down through the years, you can see the rate of inflation dramatically plateaus, and it basically keeps sliding very slowly, probably to infinity, I guess. Yeah, probably. Is it to infinity? Almost, I guess, to the 120 million mark. Where are we right now? Looking at the contract right now in the Blockchain Explorer, we are at 40.3 million. Kind of basically is on track with where we should be by year 2, which is around 50 million. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Okay, don't worry. Yes, you might think that it's super inflationary. Oh my god, we're printing one INC a second. That's gonna change every single year. Bitcoin halving is literally the same model of a Bitcoin, but it's even more rapid, which is absolutely crazy. I really like that. This is why I'm telling you it's great to earn INC as well, almost better than just buying it. You know what I mean? So it really is like a mining gold mine, really. So yeah, guys, I think that basically covers most of the things. I mean, with PulseX, I am super bullish. One thing, by the way, because I had this person, shout out to you, by the way, that savory bullish post, my friend. What? But yeah, he asked HEX or PHEX am I talking about, and then I just talked about it here where I said I'm holding both HEX and PHEX. Look into the ratio. It's about 1 to 3 to 1 to 4 ratio, and you can see it here from GoldPulse. Shout out to GoldPulse, by the way, because if you scroll down here, it tells you the ratio exactly, which is 1 to 3.8. And I also mentioned I'm also keeping an eye on the combined HEX value, which is currently 0.0586, basically half a cent. How many X is that away from $1? That is 170 X away. That's combined value. So my proportion again is I'm holding basically from 1 PHEX to EX. That's the ratio basically of what I'm holding. Okay, so I'm holding both, guys. Okay, I'm bullish on both for different reasons, as I mentioned. One is because of sacrifice funds. The other one is because if it's super thin in liquidity, it's just good to have a bag, because you just never find out. Not financial advice. That's what I'm doing. I'm not telling you guys to do that as well. But look at the liquidity. Okay, look at the liquidity, and you just never know. I do believe that history repeats itself, guys. Tomorrow is a huge day for the SEC. This is why PulseX. Again, PulseX is super bullish. It's literally outperforming Pulse, and I do believe we might see a day where it will surpass the price of Pulse. Okay, not just parity, surpass the price of Pulse in ratio as well. And I do believe in terms of what's the price target? It's gonna, I would say it could go to 1/4 cent. Okay, like 0.002, that would be crazy. Even 0.001 would absolutely be crazy as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna actually adjust this because this is not correct. It's not the X's that's correct. So we do this. It's basically a 100x to 0.002, and of course it will be half of that, which is a 50x to 0.001. Let's see exactly. Yeah, that's basically 51x basically, and I think that is super bullish. Okay, imagine, you know what I mean, you can just park your money in the PulseX farms. The actual LP will appreciate as well. Okay, granted there will be impermanent loss, but at the same time you'll have INC, which is a leverage of your LP, and as well be overexposed to the to the gains from Pulse and from PulseX. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. Delay your gratification. Always think about not where Pulsechain is really, where Pulsechain is today. Think about where Pulsechain will be tomorrow. Okay, don't think about what is Pulsechain today. Think about what is Pulsechain not yet. Okay, I kind of butchered that, but I'm just saying, look into the future. Really delay your gratification. Think about the altcoin season. You know what I mean? It's 2025. In the meantime, focus on doing multiple passive income streams. Okay, because I know these are not fun times really in the crypto world, guys. I gotta keep it real with you. Of course, this is really tough. It really does test everyone's patience. Everyone. Okay, no matter who it is, even me, guys, the person who's been telling you about, oh yeah, we're on track. Of course, I very much do believe that. But you know what I mean, like these prices, these low volume days in Pulsechain, these are bad days with Bitcoin, dropping, Ethereum dropping now, under 3K. It almost messes you up, where it's like it gets you to that point where you're at the brink, where you're actually self-doubting. And it's at that point where most of the people are self-doubting the bull run and the altcoin season, from coming. That's where we will see the flick, the God green candle. Because why? Because this is how it is. The psychological market cycle, guys. Okay, mostly everyone in crypto gets punished. Okay, so think about that. House always wins. Unfortunately, it basically is a casino. So sometimes the best thing to do is, honestly, if you've made up your thesis, you're holding your bag, you have nothing to worry about, you have your conviction, you believe in something, you want to manifest it, take a break from looking at the chart. Okay, sometimes the best reaction is honestly no action, even during times where it's low. Because what you want to do? You want to sell on a loss and realize your losses? Not good. Not good. If you've done your research, you have to believe in something, guys. Believe in something. Hodl all the way through, because that's the real gains where it's at. Not some day trading, not some swing trading. Okay, you can keep that in the stock market. Or leverage trading. Don't leverage trade. Okay, super risky unless you know what you're doing. Second, you obviously risk capital as well. Be ready to lose that money. That's the main thing as well. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end the video there. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of it. Join my Telegram link in the description. You can support my channel multiple ways. You can become a YouTube member. You can buy me coffee to keep me awake at this time of night where I'm doing my research. It's almost midnight. I hope you guys are having a great rest of your week as well, and I'll catch you soon. Take care.